This video is for you if you're a mom and you're struggling to help your baby nurse and feed. And I know if this is happening, it can be a very challenging situation and can really be heartbreaking at times, especially if you're a new mom and all you want to do is nurse your baby and get them that good breast milk that their body craves. And I know this from personal experience when my wife and I had our son that things didn't go the way we planned. And it was a lot more work and a lot more effort than we anticipated. And that's why I want to share with you today as a mom that there is hope out there and that I really want to be able to help you and your kiddo get to the other side of things. So we're going to talk about why challenges can show up and what we look for with our office. My name is Dr. Ty. I own Whole Family Chiropractic. We love helping infants and kiddos make sure things are in good alignment to help their nervous system control the different parts of their body needed for nursing and feeding and really assure optimal development overall. One of the challenges that we see is there's a lot of variables, right? When it comes to nursing, we know that there's different positions, different techniques. There's how well your kiddo can move his or her jaw, if there's a tongue tie or a lip tie, how good of a latch they have. And so our office, we help with some of those things, but definitely not all of those things. So I want to share with you the things that we help with and then some of the things that we refer out for that other practitioners help with. So as an example, we had a really good lactation consultant when my son was born with Enlightened Mama here in the Twin Cities. If you're in this area, definitely recommend them. And she gave us really good strategies on how to get this whole thing going when it was our first kiddo. And once we got some of those strategies down, we found, there's still some challenges happening here. And it turned out our son had a tongue tie and a lip tie that were severe enough that even if we were doing things really well, it prevented his mouth and his lips from getting a good latch, which then, of course, affected my wife's milk production because if there wasn't a good latch to draw milk out, her body didn't have the incentive to make the amount of milk that my son needed. And he had some stressful days with low food. When we look back a little bit into his life, we're like, oh man, he was only getting that much food. We felt really bad. Fortunately, he's doing really well now. But it took a lot of energy for us and late nights looking at each other, having conversations, trying to figure out what we needed to do. The other component then that we do focus on with our office, because we don't do revisions for tongue and lip ties, we have people that we refer to for that do a really good job. But if you've checked some of those boxes and you say, yep, there's no tongue lip tie, or maybe there is, but it's pretty mild and I think he's going to do okay without any surgery. And maybe you feel like, yep, we've got our positions down. We've talked to the lactation consultant a few times. It feels like we're doing things right. What is next? What we do look for in our office is how they were affected by the birth process and if that has thrown anything out of alignment, especially in the neck area, impacting their ability to nurse properly. So what happens is when a baby's born, as they're being pushed through the birth canal, there's over 60 pounds of pressure to push baby's head out as they're coming through the birth canal. Now, I've checked babies even after a really smooth delivery, and even then things needed some adjusting. Now, if you add on top of that a delivery where labor was really long or there was stalling. I talked to a mom this week who pushed for her first kiddo. She pushed for 4 hours. That's a lot of extra stress on little baby. Maybe they needed a suction. I was born with forceps when I came out. So some of these things add even more stress to baby. For our son, my wife's labor was 30 hours. And when he was born, his head bones were compressed and shifted a lot more extreme than other babies I had checked over the years in practice. The other thing we found out later on is one of his collarbones had a fracture in it. So guess what? When he was in certain positions, if it was putting pressure here, he wasn't going to cooperate because the head bones, especially for him, it's the right side, he would favor that ear. He'd tug on it a lot early on in life before we helped balance his cranials his head bones, but that was a lot more of a tender spot for him. With the neck, as I mentioned, the nerves from the neck, those are the nerves that go around and control the jaw muscles, they control the tongue, and they control the coordination of the mouth and the neck. So if baby doesn't have good alignment here, they're not going to have good nerve flow from the brain down to all those muscles to be able to coordinate and nurse properly and start to get the hang of things. You might notice with your kiddo that they nurse really well on one side, but not the other. That can be a really good clue that something is out of alignment and that, yep, they feel comfortable one way and we want to help them feel comfortable the other way too, so their body can get what they need and start to get balance into things so they really can not only thrive nursing now, but set their body and their brain up for success developmentally later on. One example I'll share with you, I'll bring the scans up here. This was a newborn baby that came in to see us. And when kiddos come to see us in our office, children, adults, all ages, we do a set of scans along their spine. This is a thermal scan, so it's very safe, very gentle. Nothing goes in the body, nothing comes out. It's measuring temperature, and we're looking for stress specifically on the nervous system. What we want to see are these white bars. If we see colors, we have green is mild, blue is moderate, red is severe. That shows if there's stress on different parts of the nervous system. So when baby's being born, if the spine's out of alignment enough, it can start to stress the nervous system in that area. And with that stress, prevents proper nursing if that stress is going to those neck, the shoulders, the head and face, as I mentioned before. So in this kiddo's example, when she was born, she had a lot at the base of the neck. Sometimes we'll see this even with a quick delivery because baby, if they have all that pressure and it happens really fast, that can create a lot of stress actually on the lower neck. Regardless, when we saw this little girl, we could tell that clearly she had a rougher time coming out being born than mom and dad had hoped for. And she was struggling nursing, struggling getting a good latch. She would get a lot of air when she nursed. So not only could mom hear that when she was trying to feed her, but then she would have more burping and belching, and it would affect her ability to digest that food if a whole bunch of air came in with it. Now, the good news, once we saw her scans and we started working with her, the two things we focused on, one, were clearing out that neck, and two, in her case, because of the pressure, it actually compressed and her palate was out of alignment. So that's in the back of the mouth, something that we do with a very gentle adjustment. Again, with infants, is we feel if it's out of alignment, just do very gentle pressure to help line things back up. It can be a really common area that we adjust when it comes to nursing and improving feeding. So in this girl's case, even after her first adjustment, we had her go in another room and try nursing right away. And she was able to notice a change immediately. Now, when we work with babies, sometimes there is that immediate change where something just gets back to where it should be. And we still had work to do. Obviously, with her scans, there was some healing that needed to happen to get her body fully recovered and back on track. But mom knew right away that she was moving in the right direction because she could see that change with nursing right away. Some kiddos we work with, it takes more time to get the momentum going. But ultimately what we want to do is see if there is something out of alignment that is affecting nursing and help your kiddo get back on track. And as I shared with myself, because we had challenges with our own son in a few different categories, I also know when it's something that we can help with, something that you might need person A or person B, and have a really good team that we refer to as well to help you out. So if this resonates with you, please reach out to our office. We are happy to help, happy to take a look, happy to at least do the scans and see if the neurological chiropractic that we do in our office can get your kiddo back on track, get them nursing, get them feeding, get them feeling comfortable in their body.